Hey everybody, so it's been probably a week, 2 weeks now since we put our last video out. The missus is actually busy, so she won't be on this video with me. But I'm gonna kind of do a quick recap of the one that we're showing today. So just a reminder, everybody knows that we took a 2-week road trip and we went from Houston to basically, we hit Alabama, we hit Tennessee, we hit North Carolina, South Carolina, again down to Alabama, Atlanta, New Orleans. So we basically took a major kind of circle of a trip in the South. And our objective was that we wanted to have an old-fashioned road trip, and we didn't want to be on a plane or traveling the traditional way or the ways that we've done in the past. We made a decision that we were just gonna take a very relaxing, comfortable road trip, and we did, and we enjoyed it. And along the way, we tried to hit all of the sites that we actually was able to visit, but there was a few that we have not shown yet. So today there's 2 places. I'm trying to combine 2 videos. We had the opportunity to stop in Tuskegee, Alabama, and so we had a chance to see the Tuskegee Airmen Museum. And I actually thought, it was really inspirational for me, because I'm prior military, and being prior military and also understanding what the Tuskegee Airmen went through. Obviously, it was good to be able to see the actual museum itself. And so I'm going to share a little bit about the museum that we visited there. We also, while we were there, we went on Tuskegee campus, because both Vicky and I are HBCU graduates, and so anytime we can visit an HBCU campus, we do. And so we visited Tuskegee. And then the other location or stop that we made was in Africatown. Some of you may have heard of it, the Clotilda. There's a museum there, and that museum is basically it's about a group of slaves who were brought to the U.S. after slavery was outlawed. And and there was one of the last surviving slaves was able to tell his stories. It's been on CNN, not CNN, CBS. So people have done documentaries on it. We've seen it, and we decided, hey, we want to stop through there. And so what we're going to share with you is that video as well. We think it's going to be very informative, and it's probably a place that not many people know about. And so we felt like it's good that we can share this with you and be able to give you a look into what these people went through, and their stories about perseverance, right? They came here when it was illegal to bring slaves. They were mistreated, and then they persevered because once they were able to be free and they could not go back to their home country, they decided that they will create this town, and it was called Africatown. And so I think it's going to be good to share this with you. And so this is what you'll get a chance to see. The video itself might not be very long. It may be, as I finish editing it, it probably will be less than 15 minutes. But hopefully you'll get a chance to understand the story behind these 2 really important historical sites. And I do think it's gonna hopefully give some people a desire to want to go visit them. So anyway, that's we'll show you the video. And then at the end, one of the things that we were asked at the end of our video is that we're just starting our channel. So we don't do a very good job of marketing ourselves. We do have a lot more content that we're going to be sharing, but in order for us to really be successful, we want to ensure that we get as many subscribers as possible. So if you're watching this video, we ask that you, we would love you to just click the like button, but also we would love you to also subscribe to the channel so we can increase our subscribers. And then we ask that you would share it. We're just learning some of the editing. We're still working through some of the details of how to do that. But we're going to get better. And as we get better and we bring more content, we want to ensure that we can increase the number of people who are part of our channel. But so if you can like, comment, and subscribe, we would really appreciate it. Thanks. So as you can see on this map, we have pretty much made, we're on the back half of our route back to Houston's, and we had just left Atlanta, and that's what the map is depicting. And what you see here in red, we are now leaving Atlanta. We're gonna stop in Tuskegee, and then we're gonna stop in Mobile. And we'll share more about the route itself as we wrap it up. I think we have one more video that we'll be showing, which is we did a review of a restaurant in New Orleans, so we'll be sharing that with you. But this is the route. And so now I want to talk through. Okay, so here's where we're arriving at the museum. The name of the field is Moton Field, M-O-T-O-N. I believe I have it spelled correctly. And it's actually I think we got there we left Houston July the 20th. We arrived there based on the timing of the trip. I want to say maybe that last week of July, first week of August. But here's the field, and we didn't go inside the hangar. We chose not to, only because for the sake of time, we knew we were going to be going into Mobile, so we decided to just go do a tour around the park. What you'll see, in this footage is basically we try to capture the entire field. And I don't know how many of you have seen the movie Red Tails. This resembles exactly what's in the movie, obviously, because it's actually the exact, the location. But I thought it was good to be able to just go see the entire field. The park itself was real clean. We actually saw a park ranger as we were arriving at the park, who was doing maintenance around the park, and they keep it pretty clean. The other thing I thought was, really ironic was the fact that we arrived so I think they arrived, there was 13 Tuskegee Airmen that arrived on July the 19th, 1941, which would be 85 years from the time that we arrived, right? We got there not on the 19th, but within 2 weeks of that date. It would have been 85 years ago we arrived, and I thought, and I didn't even realize it, but it was July 19th, 1941, when the first 13 pilots arrived at the field for training. So again, it was for us, it was a really good visit to be able to go to this field. In all fairness, when we left Houston, visiting Tuskegee wasn't necessarily on the list, but part of the benefit of doing a road trip like that is that you can change where you go and your stops and how long you stay. And that's how we just kind of say, hey, let's go see. We're going to be going through Tuskegee. Let's stop at the museum, and we did. But one of the things that, why is it so important to know about them? Because again, I think they had a significant, their impact on civil rights and how we as African Americans, how we have persevered. They show and model the example of how it can be done. And there was a lot of results that I think during that time, as I said before, they were one of the best, or the best, when you think about the wartime, and they were actually requested by some of the white units to be kind of their escorts, and because they knew how effective they were. So when you look at some of the results, and this over 1,000 aviators were trained at this field. 1,000. So that's a lot of pilots. And a lot of times when they think about the people who were part of the Tuskegee Airmen story, you think only about the pilots, but there was a lot of support personnel. You had to have, the people who do the maintenance. You had to have navigators, people who navigate and make sure you're going right coordinates. So you're on the right coordinates and going the right direction. You had people who provided supplies. You had crew chiefs. So there's tons and tons of people who were part of this. The support and part of the overall story of Tuskegee Airmen. And then one thing that people don't know, women also played a part in this support and being part of the success of Tuskegee Airmen. And you probably don't hear a lot about that, but they also played a big role. And I just thought in general, it was very good to be able to see firsthand the airfield where they were trained, see the history behind it, and thought it was a really good story. Okay, so the next part of this trip was we stopped in Mobile. And actually, it was you who said we should stop in Mobile. This was another example of how it wasn't necessarily originally planned, but as we progressed and we start to think about the route, this was one of those places that you were like, hey, we should stop. And the reason we did the stop, or we thought about doing it, is because we happened to be sitting watching TV prior to leaving, and we saw kind of a documentary it was not a long documentary about about Africatown. And so we ended up said, hey, we need to put this on our list. And we did. But then as we started to do more research, we learned, wait a minute, we know about Africatown because Anderson Cooper, I think, was the one who did it, who did a documentary on 60 Minutes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so we said, hey, let's go to Africatown. So we did. We stopped in Africatown, and just give you a very brief kind of history. As I think I did at the beginning of the video, was Africatown was about West Africans who were captured in West Africa, brought to the U.S. during the time where slavery was outlawed. It was something that they were not supposed to be doing. But there was, and I don't even want to call their names because they're not important, but there was two gentlemen who had a bet. One of them who said, hey, I bet you I can bring slaves. And so he bet someone, it was do you remember how much money it was?
Was it like $1,000? I don't know.
It was not a significant amount of money,
was
right?
Was it $1,000?
I don't know if it was
$1,000. But he betted an amount of money that he could sneak in slaves or kidnapped Africans to America without getting caught.
Yeah. And they actually did. And so the name of the exhibit of this museum is called the Clotilda. And that was the name of the ship that these two individuals used to go to West Africa, steal slaves and bring them to the U.S. And so this particular museum or this town is about them. And so this is another example of how African Americans persevere, because they were captured, brought to the U.S., and then when they got here, obviously it was against the law. They actually tried the slave owner and the ship captain, and they were pretty much let off. I think the captain of the ship they charged him for not accurately noting the cargo or what was on the ship,
or
documenting it properly, and I think he spent like maybe had to pay $100 or something, very small amount. I don't remember how much, but it was so small that it was just crazy. And so anyway, that's what. So part of what they wanted to do was get rid of the evidence. So the ship, once it came here and they had to go on trial for bringing slaves into the country, they actually took the ship and they took it to a part of the Mobile where they actually burned and sank the ship. And so that way there was no evidence of them having brought captured slaves to the U.S. So they ended up burning the ship. When they burned the ship, no one could find it. And it was like years later is when they discovered it. And that was part of the 60-minute segment that Anderson Cooper did. And so when we went to the museum, so you cannot, when inside of the museum itself, you cannot take video or pictures of inside. So we couldn't share that. What our footage is showing you how we arrived at the outside, at the entrance into the museum, and then it's also showing you in the back of the museum, there's like not sure what you call it, but like an art kind of walkway. What do you call those gardens? Like infinity gardens or something?
No, they called it I can't think of what they call it, garden. But yeah, it's like a kind of a dedicated garden, I guess.
In the back.
Yeah.
And I think I have pictures and we'll show it here. We'll show you. But this story is one that a lot of people just don't know about. It's not like the museum itself is not as well known as the National African American Museum or other museums that we visited. And so we think it's important to share it because people should know. And so not only do you have the museum of how these African who were slave owners, the goal was that they wanted to go back to their country once they were freed. But the problem was that the way that it was hard for them to get, jobs or that would make enough money for them to go back. So instead of trying to go back to their homeland. They just chose to create their own town where they were at. And that's what they did. They created their own town. They created, their own stores and, different types of businesses. And that's what Africatown is. So if you go there, you get a chance to see the museum, but then you also can drive around in the area and be able to see the actual town itself. Now, I will tell you, I thought that it's just like a area where it's underfunded, so therefore it's a lot of like homes that are kind of run down, and I think they're trying to do things to revitalize it.
Yes.
And the other thing is that the family of the slave owners, they for years and years and years denied that there was any wrongdoing by their ancestor, and that they owe nothing to these people. And then finally, their two younger kids of that family, of the generation, have now admitted that they feel like there's a role they played, and that they really are willing to work on solutions that would help provide the descendants. And I'm not sure what they were going to do, but if you ask me, I think they should take and fund development within that area, like build stores and revitalize some of the some of the homes and provide jobs or bring businesses to that area. I think that's what they should do. But we think it's important that we share this with you because not many people know about it. It is in Mobile. It's called Africatown. We think it's something that needs to be on people's radar because it has not been something that people have talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, all right. Hopefully you get some value from this. Again, it's called Africatown. The name of the exhibit is called the Clotilda.